Welcome to Downtown Sports. My name is Downtown Stephen Brown, and currently, as I'm recording this video, it's in the second intermission of the exhibition game with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens. So I'm doing this video without watching the third period, so there might be some stuff that's missing from this video, but just watching the game through two periods, it's reminded me of a couple of things that we need to remember about this Leafs team, and it also brought up a couple of talking points as well. Because so far, through their little return to play camp and their scrimmages in this game, Ilya Mikheyev was voted the Leafs' top performer or top player by the media, and it's showing off in this game. That line with him, Tavares, and Marner just look absolutely fantastic together, and they're probably going to give Columbus a lot of trouble. It was an absolute joy through two periods to watch Kapanen absolutely turn on the burners. By the way, check out the video that I did about him. I will link that above the screen, and why he is one of the best players in the NHL at doing this one specific thing, and it's not missing on breakaways. And I'm going to be talking about Kapanen here. I got to be talking about Alexander Kerfoot because I really like that look of them playing together on the penalty kill. Kerfoot has played some wing, but he's predominantly played center well on the Toronto Maple Leafs this season, so it's nice that the Maple Leafs' penalty kill is getting more of a natural center than they've had for the last couple of years. And I know I asked you guys to comment Kerfoot in a couple of videos ago, and I didn't get to it just yet, and it's really easy to pump a guy up after scoring 2 goals in a game, but I guess I can kind of piggyback off of it because we have the receipts. We have the receipts here on the channel. I said I was not in favor of trading Alexander Kerfoot even before he scored the 2 goals, and I guess I can kind of give you my reasoning here. I've kind of already given it before, but just for the sake of it, let's throw it in. Kerfoot's 2 previous seasons in Colorado kind of show that he's a little bit of a playmaking guy, but he can chip in a little bit with some goal scoring, but he's going to put up about 40 points or so. And if we're looking at Kerfoot's first 16 games of the season, he was on pace for exactly 40 points. And I know 16 games is a small sample, but we also have to remember those 16 games are coming under Mike Babcock, which the team struggled mightily to produce anything offensively. In the next 49 games, he was on about a 33-point piece, and for $3.4 million, that is definitely not worth the money, but especially looking at it, 4 goals in 49 games is just not good enough. But when talking about Kerfoot this season, we have to remember in the last game of the first sample that I showed there against the LA Kings, Jeff Carter absolutely rocked him in a hit that broke his jaw and left him with a concussion. And for being a smaller guy, he does come with a resume where he's known to play a little bit more of a grittier or sandpaper type game. But after that concussion and the fractured jaw, we did see him sporting the fishbowl there for a little bit. It was really hard for him to hold down solid foods. I remember that being reported. And if you're not eating solid foods, well, you're more than likely losing a bit of weight. And if you're a professional athlete, it's really hard to stay in game shape while you're losing weight and not able to maintain that muscle. So when we're looking at these numbers here, I think that we can wipe the slate clean and give this guy another chance. I think the Maple Leafs truly did generate more offense on their penalty kill than they did on the power play through the first 2 periods against the Montreal Canadiens. So, I mean, Paul McFarland is leaving at the end of this season, so it's like, yeah. And you guys know my opinion on the Toronto Maple Leafs' power play. I think that Austin Matthews needs to be playing a lot more ice time on there, especially if we're looking at how these other top-end goal scorers and their teams distribute their percentage of power play ice time that they have to give. But sticking to special teams here, I want to talk about the Maple Leafs' penalty kill. And this game was kind of weird because in the exhibition games, you're allowed to dress 13 forwards and 7 defensemen. So the personnel that were on this penalty kill, I don't know if that's going to remain a thing, but it was interesting to me. Because early on in the first period, Nick Robertson did take a penalty, and don't worry, we will talk about Nick Robertson just after this. And the Maple Leafs threw out Jake Muzzin and Justin Holl to start the penalty kill. But then the second penalty kill unit came on, and it was Travis Dermott and Martin Marincin. And maybe I missed it, but I didn't see Cody Ceci on that penalty kill at all. Which Muzzin, Hull, and Dermott is only 3 guys, and you're going to need 4 penalty killers in there anyway. But it's peculiar to me that they left out the guy that's played on the penalty kill the most so far out of any Toronto Maple Leafs defenseman on that one kill. And I mean, Marty Marincin was out there with Travis Dermott, so maybe it's just as simple as Dermott Ceci is on the second penalty kill unit there. But if they're going to be leaving out their number 1 penalty killing defenseman so far this season, which is what Cody Ceci is by the ice time here, well, maybe there's room for Rasmus Sandin after all. Because I've said this, if you've been following along with the videos here, I've said this. Travis Dermott, if he steps up and starts killing penalties here, we can launch Cody Ceci into the sun. But if he doesn't, then there's no opportunity for Rasmus Sandin to get in the lineup here. And this is how the Maple Leafs' lines have looked so far through their scrimmages and through their practices. And I like this. This is probably the best that they can roll out. And this is the playoffs, so you're not just going to use 6 defensemen through the entire thing. If you're going to go 2 or 3 rounds, you're more than likely going to have to use 7, 8, maybe even 9 guys. So Rasmus Sandin will more than likely draw in for someone here at some point. I mean, cross your fingers and knock on wood, right? I'm not praying for someone to get injured. But I just thought it was interesting that the Maple Leafs didn't use the defender that they've used the most so far on the penalty kill, on that one kill specifically. So maybe, just maybe, Rasmus Sandin does have a chance to play in that Columbus series. And I mean, lastly, Nick Robertson, he looked like he was absolutely flying out there. He looks like he's trying to make this team for game 1 against Columbus, and I think he's going to do it. And like I talked about in the previous video, and like I mentioned in my video that has almost 9,000 views, no big deal. It's just the most viewed video here on this channel talking about the Maple Leafs' salary cap situation a couple of years ahead, which I will link above the screen. By 2022-2023, the Maple Leafs will have to sort out their goaltending situation, give contracts to Zach Hyman, Kapanen, and Morgan Rielly, and having burned the year on Rasmus Sandin's entry-level deal, he'll also be needing a new contract. Timothy Liljegren will also be needing a new contract, and if Nick Robertson plays in more than 9 playoff games this year, he'll also be needing a new contract by that 2022-2023 season. And as of now, the salary cap is only projected to go up about $1 million between now and then, so it's very, very scary stuff. But to that, I would say if the Maple Leafs played 10 playoff games, I think I would be happy about that. And if Nick Robertson played in 10 playoff games, I think I would even be happier about that. In this situation, I don't think that you can worry about the entry-level deal. If the Maple Leafs are going to go on a run here, they're going to go on a run here. I'm not going to say that I'm not in favor of that. Especially if Nick Robertson plays well and is a part of that third line that looks absolutely amazing so far tonight. Before I ended the video here, I wanted to look at the box score for the third period, if there was anything that I missed, and I can't find one. That's not available on the score. It's not available on Sportsnet website. The first game that was broadcasted today wasn't even broadcasted on one of the Sportsnet channels, and they got like 8 of them, by the way. Guys, what's up with that? So it's 4-2 right now with just under 4 minutes left to go, and it looked like Morgan Rielly added the 4th goal in there, which is encouraging because he assisted on a shot from the blue line on Kerfoot's 2nd goal earlier in the game, and as we pointed out, Morgan Rielly's looking absolutely jacked, and if he's going to be Morgan Rielly from last year and this year's playoffs, everyone's going to have to watch out for that. And I guess talking about Morgan Rielly and the blue line here, it kind of leads into my last talking point and the last point that I want to make here. Everyone is coming into these playoffs healthy. I know everyone is rusty, but they are coming in basically with a clean bill of health, having about 2 or 3 months off, basically. But to just be really blunt, I think that a healthy Maple Leafs team, even without Andreas Johnsson, is better than a lot of other teams in the league. I mean, hell, if we're going back to the series against the Boston Bruins last year, the biggest reason why the Maple Leafs lost that series and it went to 7 games was the health of their blue line. Not the quality of players that they had, but the health of their blue line. Because the blue line was already suspect at best. It wasn't anything special, but Travis Dermott had a shoulder injury that he was playing through. Jake Gardiner was going through a back injury that he played through. And Jake Muzzin missed several games to end last season with some sort of illness, so he wasn't 100% either. Zach Hyman went about that whole series killing penalties on one knee, and a huge area that the Maple Leafs absolutely got killed in was the special teams last year. And if you're looking at it, I mean, yeah, of course they did. One of their main penalty killers was out there on one knee against David Pastrnak, Brad Marchand, and Patrice Bergeron. But as the final seconds tick down here with the Maple Leafs still leading 4-2 with the Montreal net empty, it's important to note that this team is not last year's team. This team is healthy. It's not going to have those crutches on top of the already suspect blue line, and hopefully Frederik Andersen can hold it together. I mean, he's made 27 saves on 29 shots here against Montreal. The first goal of the game that he led in was kind of just an easy backdoor tap in. Wasn't really his fault. I didn't get a chance to see the second goal, so I don't know how that went. But I think the biggest edge that the Maple Leafs are going to have in this year's playoffs is a healthy Jake Muzzin. How do we know Jake Muzzin's healthy? Well, when he's absolutely killing guys out there, just absolutely just rudely just skating up to that guy and just dumping him into the boards like he had no business of even being part of this game. But this game definitely got me fired up and definitely got me excited for the things that are yet to come for the Maple Leafs. What are your thoughts and opinion? Let me know down below, and make sure to leave me a like on the video and subscribe for more, because more is always on the way. And guys, we're getting closer and closer here, and the Toronto Maple Leafs are looking like they're going to do some serious damage here. So I finished editing the video here, but it only came out to 9 minutes and 56 seconds. So 10-minute mark.